Hi, I'm Fee. I'm in recovery from anorexia and I'm getting my life back. Today I had all sorts of challenges. I had different cereals, I had a caramel dairy milk Easter egg, I had a Krispy Kreme donut, I had chicken curry and cheesecake. There's also a little update about some stuff that's been going on. Anyway, commence video.
Good morning. I'm not going to say it. Someone challenged me to try and not say it. So all I'm going to say is I'm tired. Today is it's appointment day, and it's actually the first appointment day I have filmed for a good few months now. I think since like October, November. So yeah, I thought I'd film an appointment day, and because obviously I've still been having appointments. I think I might do a little bit of an update as well, just because I mean, it has been a long time and quite a lot has been happening. I am also really mixing things up with food. So yeah, I've been doing quite a few new things recently, but yeah, today I've got kind of a few ideas in my head, so gonna see how it goes. But for now, breakfast time. I've got my bowl that says, "Be brave." It also says Fiona on the inside. And I've also got my teaspoon that says, "Be your own hero," which I think Hannah got me this one. I am a little bit nervous about like the food changes, as in like the kind of the ideas I've got for some snacks and stuff today and dinner and stuff, making me a little bit nervous. But that's more of a reason to do them, I think. Anyway, so deep breath, be brave. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So I used to have Rice Krispies and Cocoa Pops when I was young, and I've not had it for a while, and so I decided to have it again. And I didn't really know how I was going to feel about it, but actually I strangely felt okay. I made sure I had a very big bowl because I can't let things slip. Just because I'm trying new things doesn't mean that the amount decreases. So I had a very, very big bowl of cereal. I couldn't even fit all of my milk in to start with. I had to like slowly add it in as I went. But I had it. I had the entire bowl. It was a lot of cereal, but it was really tasty, so it's fine. And the milk went all chocolatey, which is always a good thing. It did remind me of being a kid. I never really had like too much variety at breakfast. Like I was very much a Weetabix person. I only actually started having porridge when I was like 18, I think. But no, I did used to like Rice Krispies and Cocoa Pops. Always mixed though. I find Cocoa Pops alone like goes too chocolatey. But yeah, it was a good breakfast, good cereal, and made sure I finished every last bit of it. And obviously still went on to have my 2 slices of toast on thick bread with all of my spreads and my banana. Then we went on a little dog walk. This was my little outfit of the day. I had to make lunch because it was appointment day, so we were taking it with us. So made my hummus and falafel wrap, a nice big dollop of hummus, and then falafels, of course.
So after the success of the white chocolate cream egg, I got a multi-pack of cream eggs and caramel eggs. My eyesight's so bad now. uni laptops. But it's got 2 normal ones, 1 white and 2 caramel. I've never had the caramel one before, so I think I'm going to try the caramel one for my snack today. And yeah, I love that. Came like, I was like, oh, should I get a nest of eggs? And Mum was like, what? And I was like, a whole box of them. So that one, my morning snack.
I know that Cadbury's caramel eggs have been out for a while, but I've just never had one before. I don't know why. I had my apple first, and then I had my caramel cream egg. It was exactly like a caramel Cadbury's like bar, except in an egg. The chocolate was a bit thicker, and obviously like a thicker caramel inside, like as in a thicker layer. I really enjoyed it. I love caramel Cadbury's bars, so I don't know why it took me so long, but I am very pleased that I finally tried one. Yeah, I definitely get this again. Well, I mean, I've got another one in my nest of eggs, so I have got another one, and obviously cream eggs. I'd give this a 9 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10. It was delicious. Then I had my appointment. Then after my appointment, we went to a cafe so I could have my lunch. I had my hummus and falafel wrap. Then I had my mini cheddars. Then I had my rice pudding, and then finished it off with a slice of soren. I was still really nervous about getting my snack. I literally left it right until the end of the food shop, but I went and got it, and that's what's important.
Are you ready to see what my afternoon snack is? Are you ready? A Krispy Kreme donut. Now, this is one of those foods that holds just a lot of emotion for me. And yeah, I could do a whole thing about it, but I'm not going to, because the important thing is I have a Krispy Kreme donut and I'm gonna have it for my snack. She feel like shaky. It's so perfect. I have not had one of these for, too long. But changing that. If you know me, you know that Krispy Kreme is like, yeah, it's a big deal. And do you know, I can't help but reflect that like, there's so many things that I do now that I don't think about. There's so many things that I feel like I'm in such a better place. And then there's little things like this, that Krispy Kreme is just one of those things that I just haven't been able to go near for a while. So having one today. My favourite Krispy Kremes, okay, I only really like 2 of them. I like the original glazed and then the Biscoff ones. And I really, really wanted the original glazed today. So having that. Okay, let's do this.
And then it was donut time. I got my donut and I ate my donut. My mum was sat next to me and she was like, "You're doing it, you're having the Krispy Kreme." And I was like, I know. It was amazing, just as I remembered. I love Krispy Kremes. They're so like light and just lovely. Yeah, I love the original glazed. I think this is the first Krispy Kreme I ever had. And it probably is my favourite between this and the Biscoff one. This got a 10 out of 10. It was delicious. I know everyone says to try and heat them up, but maybe that's with the next Krispy Kreme that I have. I'll try and heat it, but this one I just wanted to have as it was. And yeah, it was wonderful. And also, I did it. I said that I would do an update, and I will do an update. I'm finding it a little bit difficult just because there's been a lot going on and I don't know how I feel about it. And I'm not going to talk about everything today. So I'm just going to pick out like a couple of the main things that I've been going through, that have been happening. And I guess one of the biggest ones, I feel really, I feel disappointed in myself, even though I know I shouldn't. I've had to make changes with my university, with studying, so I won't be graduating this year, which I know why it's taken me so long to do an update, because I just don't know how I feel about it. I just feel a bit frustrated with myself, I guess, like, why can't I do better? But equally, I think it's important that, you know, we noticed that things were getting difficult and we acted before things kind of fell apart. And I've had a lot of support with it. I think just the kind of person I am, that kind of decision does not come easily. There's a lot of associations that I have. And yeah, just frustration and sort of a why can't I just kind of manage. But hopefully I will be graduating next year, next summer. So yeah, obviously I'm still in uni. We've just changed it a little bit in like the intensity of uni work and all that kind of stuff, to hopefully enable me to continue to maintain my recovery, getting healthier, and balancing my mental health and all this kind of stuff, making sure I don't burn out. I guess looking back at what went wrong in my second year and trying to avoid falling down the same holes. So yeah, it's not been easy. There's been a lot of frustration I have with myself. A lot of sort of why can't I just, yeah. But it's a decision that we've made, and it's a decision that I know is the right thing. And not just because I know it's the right thing, as in I've spoken to the people around me that know me and they agree, but also it's doing something different. So I was getting all of these warning signs that things were not good and people were worried. And instead of just shutting down the world and retreating into, I guess, me being stubborn, I listened and we spoke it all through, and yeah, I'm just doing some of my final year next year rather than all of it this year. So I'm still at uni and I'm still enjoying it. I'm actually my first week back this week for semester 2, which I always find very overwhelming going back. But I also, sort of in my appointment today, I was like talking about it and I was like, because I know I'm going to find it overwhelming, I find it slightly less overwhelming that I find it overwhelming. But yeah, I am stress reactive. When things happen that stress me out, I feel it very intensely and I struggle to work through that feeling, and it takes quite a long time for it to dissipate. So today I felt a little bit like overwhelmed, but it did help to talk it through. It always helps to talk it through. I did get a question about how are my appointments going, so I thought I'd do a little bit of an update about all of that kind of stuff. Generally okay. Like, I was thinking, because
Like, this is the first appointment day I've done for a long time. And I was like, remember when all of my appointment days just ended up with me crying? Me in floods of tears in an appointment, after an appointment. And yeah, that doesn't really happen anymore. I mean, I still have appointments where I go in and cry, but it's not because I'm upset about like being asked to like do things that I don't feel able to do. Generally it's me, I don't know, getting support for what I'm going through. But there were no tears today, and that was quite nice. At the moment we're working hard on trying to understand like where my physical health is, and knowing the goals around my physical health and getting to healthy, set point, all of that kind of stuff. I did have a blood test again recently, and a lot of my levels are now like in the normal range, which is really good. But there's still some physical health stuff that's not quite there yet. We're talking a lot about, I guess, my mental health and how I'm coping, because I struggled with my mental health. Like, I separate my mental health from my eating disorder. They feel like two quite different things. So we're kind of working through what's going on in my head, how I'm feeling about myself, dealing with things in my head. And so my nurse often uses sort of like a triangle thing, where I've got my physical health, my psychological health, and then my social like well-being. And like recovery is kind of about having an equal balance between those three things. And I think this is where, as you go through recovery, I think those like the different challenges that you face change. So obviously, like a lot of last year, my physical well-being was not good. And whilst that was very difficult, in a way that was quite simple, because the answer to that was like consistency with managing food and getting myself into a physically better place. And I guess in the last sort of few months, like my physical health, my physical well-being is a lot more stable, and like all of that kind of stuff. And we're just making sure that kind of psychologically and socially my well-being is okay. And yeah, I guess there's been difficulties around that. I think like comparing it to like times that I've been through the recovery process before, and I tend to get stuck at this point, and this is quite like a risky point for me for going backwards, is like I didn't have my autism diagnosis then. So a lot of what I'm going through, we now know to approach it differently. I am going to do a video separately about autism and eating disorders, so I know I very much just kind of glided over that subject, but that's because that's why. So I guess like psychologically we're kind of working out how to best manage my mental health, and understanding there's a lot about, I guess, feeling okay with myself, which I really don't like that. I'm really not very good at that. Trying to kind of bring in an element of self-compassion that for me seems to come up regularly, and I don't like it at all. I just find it very difficult. It's just not how I speak to myself, which is probably why I should work on it, but it's difficult. And there's a lot of work coming up that we need to do around like sustainable recovery, and how I am going to need to navigate the next part, the next phase of recovery, which is really helpful now I've got my autism diagnosis, because there's a lot that like my nurse is like, that's your autism. So we're just trying to work out how to go through the next phase knowing what we know now. So it was a helpful appointment. It was difficult because my nurse has given me forewarning about the next phase and the discussions that are going to need to be had and all that kind of stuff, which is difficult. It's going to be a difficult time. I also am in a place where in the past I have gone downhill, and for me, relapse doesn't happen slowly. Like, I can be doing really well and then I can suddenly be very, very, very unwell. And that's just my experience of my illness, is that it takes over very suddenly, very intensely, and I go from, yeah, perfectly okay to extremely unwell very quickly. So we're kind of working out how to best manage that, because it's one of my biggest fears, is things going downhill, and obviously people around me are worried about that as well. And also just like trying to understand my new body and a healthier body, and knowing that I still got a way to go and my body's still got repair to do, and all that kind of stuff. So we're definitely into like a new phase, but the new phase is like gonna be a bit complicated. So a lot of our appointments recently have been discussing about what we need to work on. I know I've not updated everything, but that's kind of a lot of what's been happening. But then, yeah, generally, like, I am okay. Like, I'm doing things that used to cause me an awful lot of stress, and they are not causing me a lot of stress. I'm generally living a life that, I mean, is 100 times better than this time last year. And that's come through hard work. So for now, one day at a time, just keep on going.
For dinner, I had a chicken curry with rice. It was quite nice. I don't like it too spicy, and this wasn't too spicy. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. Then for my dessert, because I don't know, I just felt like going against all the rules in my head, I had a cheesecake. I've had this for ages, and I don't know why, I just haven't had it until I had it. It was really tasty. I don't really know what flavour it was. It didn't have like a lot of flavour, which actually I don't mind. But compared to the other cheesecakes I've had recently, I really liked the base of this. Like, it was really nice and like, I don't know, like thick, like buttery sort of biscuity rather than like crumbly. And then it had a good amount of cheesecake on top, which was really tasty too. I would probably give this an 8 out of 10. I really liked the texture of it, and the flavour was really nice, even though I'm not entirely sure what the flavour was supposed to be. Today I've done so many things with food, and it's just not really bothering me. And that feels like a kind of crazy place to be in, that it doesn't. So this is a message to past Fee. Keep on going, because it does get better. And to anyone else on a similar journey who's finding it difficult and thinking, does it get better? Am I going to be able to kind of get through this? Yes, you'll get to the point where you can have curries and cheesecakes and Krispy Kreme donuts and chocolate eggs, and it's not the biggest thing that happens. And I feel like I'm getting there. After dinner, I did my paint by numbers. I really wanted to do this one because it's one of my favourite pictures, but I don't think it really came out in a painting very well. But I enjoyed the process of doing it anyway. Then I had my night snack. I love my night snack. So I had my 2 packs of chickpeas and then a yoghurt. wanted to finish this video on this quote. I also wanted to quickly say I'm sorry this has taken me so long to get out. You can probably tell by my voice I've really not been very well the last week. I've had a really nasty chest infection and I completely lost my voice. I started doing the voiceover for this video and then I mistakenly thought I'll finish it tomorrow, and I woke up with no voice, which is why for some of this video my voice is fine and the rest of it, it's quite husky, as my mum says. But yeah, I am starting to feel a little bit better. But thank you for being patient with me.